Hi friends, welcome to Sunday School. I am so glad that you are here with me. Well, today we are talking about perseverance. Do you know what that means? It's a big old word. What on earth does that word mean? Well, maybe you already know, but maybe you've heard of it or not quite sure of it, or maybe you've never heard of it at all. All of those are just fine with me. Perseverance means that you keep working day after day, or minute after minute, or hour after hour, whatever that looks like to you, for a long time, even when things get hard. You're working on something, some kind of goal. Can you think of anything that you've worked on that seems like a really long time, and maybe some things were harder than others, but you kept working and you kept working and then you finished? It feels so good when you finish. How about a school year? We just started a school year, right? So you are right at the very beginning and the end. Next summer looks far, far away, right? But you're gonna have some really great days in that school year, right? And some days, well, they're not gonna be as great as the others. But you know that God is in your heart and God is with you, that you will make it through this whole year. And at the end, that last day of school, you're going to celebrate the accomplishment that you have done. You made it through a whole school year. There's all kinds of things that you work hard. Sometimes you might be in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, or maybe you're in a sport and you're really working for a game or a big series or something going on. There's all kinds of things that you can be persistent at. Well, I have an activity for us that takes persistence. It's looking up a Bible verse. Now, some of you might be really good at this, and some of you might go, what's a Bible verse? Yep, there's all kinds of us, and some have used the Bible over and over again, and we know the Bible front to back. And then there's some of us that love the Bible stories, but don't really know where they are inside the Bible. And that's okay. I'm going to give you a Bible verse, and I want you to see if you can find it. Do you have the skills to find this Bible verse? And you know what? Maybe you don't. But if you're persistent, you can find somebody who will help you with that. You can keep looking and keep looking. Are you ready? Okay, we're going to go to the book of James. We're going to go to the book of James, and we're going to go to chapter 1, verse 2 through 6. Let's see if you can make it. Okay, well, maybe you want to find it later, or maybe you're super speedy and you already found the book. Well, do you know where the book is located in the Bible? Do you know if it's in the front in the Old Testament, or is it in the back in the New Testament? Do you know the difference? The Old Testament are the stories from long, long ago, before Jesus was on earth. And the New Testament stories are still stories from long, long, long ago. Jesus is on earth in most of these stories. And some, it's after Jesus went back up to heaven. And it talks about how the disciples remember what Jesus taught them. And the disciples go out to share God's love with others. Okay, so where'd you find James at? It's in the very back. Can you see that? The very back of the Bible is James. And we are only looking for chapter 1. So that's the big one right there. James chapter 1, verses 2 through 6, which this Bible that I happen to have right now, the name of this section is called Facing All Kinds of Trouble. Well, that kind of makes sense for persistence, right? Or perseverance. That means you got to keep trying and trying, because if you're in times of trouble, it might take a lot of sticking to it, a lot of hard work to get through whatever it is that it's causing you trouble. Let's read it. My brothers and sisters, you will face all kinds of trouble. When you do, think of it as pure joy. Your faith will be put to the test. You know that when that happens, it will produce in you strength to continue. The strength to keep going that must allow you to finish its work. Then you will be all you should be. You have everything you need. If any of you need wisdom, ask God for it. God will give it to you. God gives freely to everyone. God doesn't find fault. But when you ask, you must believe. You should not doubt. People who doubt are like waves in the sea. The wind blows and tosses them around. Wow, did you hear all that? What stuck out to me is that if you need any wisdom, ask God for it. Oh, so if you need any help in your whole day-to-day life, any day, you can ask God to help you through it. That is what we are going to keep working on, is remembering to ask God for help. This week, our sermon series is tied with a fun Disney Pixar movie. The Pixar movie that I'm thinking of is Finding Nemo. Have you seen it? Oh, there's so many great parts of this movie that help me remember to be persistent or to keep on working at it. How about when Nemo is lost? Does he just be like, oh, I'm done, never seeing my dad again? No, he keeps going. How about the sea turtles? They go on this really long journey. Do you know that some sea turtles travel over 10,000 miles? It's amazing. Do you travel even that many miles in your lifetime? I don't even know. But you have to be persistent and persevere through any kind of long distance traveling. You know, I just went on a long distance trip. My family and I drove to Florida. Whew, that was a long trip. And you know what happened? Oh, one night we hit one of these big rubber tires in the road and we had to like clunk off of the highway, and we found a gas station. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere. And my husband, he went into the gas station and he asked for help. And there was a guy in there that said, I'll help you. I'll come help you. And he did. And he owned a construction business and he had all of the things in his car that he needed to help us. He went and got it. He crawled underneath the minivan and started tying up the undercarriage to the car. And it worked again. And we were able to drive away safely. Now, while we're waiting there, my kids were a little nervous because we were out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, in the middle of nowhere, we were like 15 hours away from home. And so my kids were kind of nervous on what was going to happen to us. But I reminded my kids that God is close. God is close, and God made sure that there was somebody there to help us. Somebody was there ready to help us. Now, it probably wasn't this guy's favorite thing to do, is to help a needy family on a Friday night. But you know what? He did it, and he smiled and he said, no problem, I'm happy to help. Because of God, we were helped. This man was right there willing to help us. When have you had some times where you thought that you were worried and needed God's help? You should tell somebody in your family about that today. So back to Finding Nemo, do you remember when all the fish were gathered up in that big net and they were getting pulled up onto the boat? Do you remember what they started saying? They started saying, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. They were trying to swim down. And one fish alone swimming down wasn't going to do anything. But if all those fish started doing it together, and if they kept working hard at it, even though it seemed like they couldn't manage to do anything else, they kept working together, and what happened? The net, it broke, and all the fish were saved because they persevered. You know, it's just that kind of thing. When we work hard, and even if it seems hard, we just ask God to help us to get through it. So I was thinking for our craft, it could be fun if you made a picture of Finding Nemo or a picture of Under the Sea, or one of my favorite parts are the sea turtles. The little baby sea turtle and then the cowabunga guy sea turtle, that would be a fun picture. So draw a picture of something from Finding Nemo for your craft to remember that when life gets hard, just keep swimming. God is with you. God will help you. All right, my friends, you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.